r/rules horror. Posted by you/the_crusader. Rules for escaping the dead school. So, you're just another teenager who just entered high school. Well, I got news for you, this isn't the school you're supposed to be at. Don't worry, you just have to escape and you'll never end up here again. Hopefully. Rule 1. Trust no one, act like you're a mouse in a house full of cats. You're the only human, in fact you're the only one close to being human here. Rule 2. Try to find a weapon, there'll be knives in the cooking classroom. Unlike in the other posts, these entities bleed, and can be killed. Don't count on it though, they're still pretty tough. Rule 3. You have to escape in 3 hours or less, any longer and then the principal will be hunting you. That thing is a walking super weapon. Serrated claws, armor plating on its skin, jaw strong enough to bite into steel, dual-bladed tails for double the slashing power, the list goes on. Rule 4. Don't try to befriend any of them, they don't like to mingle with your kind. Rule 5. You'll have to find the front gate, it's your only way out other than climbing electrified fences. Rule 6. There are 6 teachers, 1 helper and a vice principal. Here are the rules for dealing with each of them. Rule 6/A. The cooking teacher is the most dangerous staff member other than the vice principal and principal. Mainly because they have an ungodly amount of knives. I don't mean that as weapons, I mean they're made out of knives. You'll need to keep a bottle of water on you, it should be enough to convince the cooking teacher to avoid you like the bubonic plague, if not just throw the bottle of water at it. It fears rust and as soon as you do that it'll never dare to go near you again. Rule 6/B. The math teacher won't be dangerous physically but is a death sentence mentally. Keep a calculator on you so you won't be broken by his maths questions. Rule 6/C. The PE teacher is deadly against anyone who isn't good physically. I hope that you're fit because if you slow down even a bit during the laps you'll never walk again. Rule 6/D. Avoid the history teacher at all costs, it's close to being as deadly as the cooking teacher due to it wielding a arming sword. I hope you know history well. Rule 6/E. The English teacher is the least deadly of the teachers since all you gotta do is read in its vicinity. Just make sure you're actually reading because one time someday it stole a fire axe to force people to read. I was a normal English teacher once. They were all normal teachers once. Rule 6/F. The music teacher is dangerous for the ears, if at any point you start hearing piano music, cover your ears because soon that piano will make fighter jets seem silent. And yes, its head is a record player. Rule 6/G. The helper is your best friend here, try to find them as they'll guide you to the exit. Be careful though, even the false students can kill them. Don't ruin the safety for everyone who ends up here. Rule 6/H. The vice principal is incredibly dangerous, akin to a weaker version of the principal. Just try to avoid it. Rule 7. Don't enter the bathrooms, if you need to piss or shit do it into bushes, just don't enter the bathrooms. False students tend to gather there and often fight, smoke, vape, piss on the floors and shit in the urinals, just don't go there. Refer to Rule 8 for what a false student is. Rule 8. False students are the most common entity here, if you fall here you'll join them, for the most part they're docile but still try to avoid them, they can snap at any moment. Rule 9. Remain silent throughout this, you'll need to listen for the music teacher after all, plus you don't want to advertise your location. Rule 10. If you see a man in Teutonic armor with claws and a bladed tail, avoid him. He's trying to rescue you, in reality he's gotten bored of this place and decided to drag you to another place he uses for amusement. From Skulldriver. Next story of this video. Posted by you/Forrest_Bane. How to save yourself. Everyone in the country knew about the plane crash from 2 months ago. As the reporters on the TV had said, just yards away from the wreckage they hauled on shore, leaks were found in the fuel tanks and the jets were jammed, purely an accident. Ultimately, nobody survived the crash. Flight 74 nosedived into the Pacific Ocean, not far from the California coast, where 169 passengers died. If I were normal, which many people have said I'm not, I wouldn't have flown that day. I wouldn't have flown with Sky Limits Airlines, the same company that Flight 74 had born from. But work has always been my priority, even leading to my divorce. It barely fazed me. I've always been married to my job anyway. I couldn't miss the conference in France. I wouldn't. The company just happened to buy my ticket from Sky Limits Airlines. It wasn't a concern. It should have been. I should have been hesitant, as many people were. But I wasn't. My mind was elsewhere, as were the 65 other passengers that boarded the plane with me. I took my seat next to the window and checked the time on my phone, 8:45 a.m. A man sits down next to me, and I restrain a visible frown. I was hoping I'd have the whole row to myself, but I guess not. A muffled announcement from the cockpit blared through the speakers announcing liftoff. Bored with the usual routine, I snagged the safety procedure pamphlet from the small pocket on the back of the seat. I'd read these things multiple times, considering I flew a lot for my job. But as I scanned the contents, I realized that this one was different. There were no pictures, just words that read as follows. How to save yourself. Rule number 1, the plane is going to crash. No one knows this but you, not even the pilots and staff. Do not tell anyone. You're the only one who has this. Rule number 2, do not look out the window. The more you do, the faster the plane will fly. You need to as much time as you can get. Rule number 3, when the oxygen masks drop, don't put yours on. They're all poisoned. If you are sitting next to someone, don't try to stop them from putting on theirs. You don't have time. Rule number 4, there will be 3 encounters of turbulence. During each of the 3, do the following. 1. When you first feel turbulence, do not flinch. Stay as still as you can. Your stomach will drop, but do not acknowledge it. If you do, the plane will drop immediately. If so, skip ahead to 2. When you feel it a second time, take off your shoes as fast as you can. The smallest bit of weight can turn the tables on your life. Do not put them back on for the remainder of the flight. If you do, the plane will drop immediately. 3. When you feel the turbulence a third time, run to the seat opposite of yours on the other side of the plane. If you sit in the wrong one, the plane will drop immediately. Be wise. Rule number 5, there's a life vest under your seat. Do not put it on. It will only weigh you down more. Rule number 6, once the plane begins to plummet, run to the bathroom, open the cabinet, and put on the parachute stashed there. Then open the emergency exit and jump out. Don't worry, you'll land safely in the water. This isn't my first procedure. Rule number 7, once you land, swim back to the Seattle coast. It should be invisible sight. If you can't swim, then it's a shame you happen to be chosen. Happy flying. The man sitting in next to you. I scowl down at the pamphlet, my eyes carelessly glancing at the man next to me. He's staring at me, a smile on his face so unsettling it chills me. Feeling uneasy, I stuff the pamphlet away into the pocket and look out the window, trying to ignore him. What the hell kind of shit is this guy pulling? I never considered myself a superstitious guy, but it's not funny at all. The plane begins to speed up. My heart races as worried murmurs fill the cabin. I look at the man. His smile is bigger. Toothy. Fuzzy. The plane speeds through the sky at such a rate I feel plastered to my seat. A broken, panicked announcement on the speakers turns into a high-pitched wail of static. I cover my ears, and people begin to scream. The plane begins to shake with turbulence, and I reach to shut the window screen. The plane drops. The lights flicker, the oxygen masks fall from their compartments overhead, the man is smiling at the room of frenzied people as they snag their masks and put them on. Instinctively I grab mine and strap it onto my face. The air in my lungs sours. My pulse races, but somehow the world begins to slow. The last thing I do is look at the pamphlet, tucked away into the pocket. I'd already forgotten which rule said. My world is swallowed by darkness.